If you like this video, click like. If you want to continue to follow our adventure, hit subscribe. Your support would be greatly appreciated.
Hello, Lives on the Road subscribers and followers. Do you consider yourself a victim? I watched a video on Thanksgiving that talked about happiness, graciousness, being grateful, and why some people are happy and why some never seem to be able to find happiness. And I spent all that time thinking about that video, thinking whether I wanted to make this video. As a matter of fact, I wrote it down in my notebook, and a few days ago I was sitting down in this chair and I was about ready to make the video, and I decided not to. I took the note paper out and I set it aside. I didn't throw it away, but I set it aside, which I never take notes out of my notebook. And I came back to it because I was able to think about it some more and determined I am happy. I'm not going to be a victim, and I guess in my life I've chose never to be a victim. And in this video it discussed how choosing to be a victim of circumstances, not of violence, and I'm not talking about violent victims or that kind of thing. I'm talking about you feel like you've been victimized in your life, which makes you unhappy. And it really is a thought process. I choose to be a victim or I choose to be happy, and that's really what it is. So I'm going to give you two of my life stories, and I really try to think about life stories that I could connect with you. And why I ended up here in a pop-up camper in the middle of winter in Missouri, and I'm still happy. Okay, so the year after I was born, 1 year, 1 month, 0 days. I was born October 26th. She was born November 26th. My sister was born. And she was born with a disease called osteogenesis imperfecta. It is a disease in which your bones are very brittle. She never grew to be more than 3 feet tall. She lived until she was 18 years old. But she broke bones all the time. As a matter of fact, there was 2 times I broke her bones. One time, it was a little pillow fight. She was sitting on the couch and I chucked the pillow at her and I broke her arm. The other time we were sitting in the pickup truck. Mom was in the grocery store. Back in the day you could do that. And we were playing tug of war with a straw. And I yanked it and I broke her arm. I spent a good portion of my childhood in the waiting room of Cardinal Glenna's Hospital in St. Louis, Missouri. Because my sister was always in the hospital. She had several surgeries. I can't even tell you how many surgeries she had, but they put pins in her legs, and it's just all the time. She never learned to walk properly. She didn't even learn to walk until she was 17, 18 years old. But it was barely moving around type of walking. She spent most of her life in a wheelchair, or what we called scooting around, where she would kind of do this on her hind side. She'd sit and just scoot. It was a tough childhood. It was a real tough childhood, trying to take care of Joyce. But I grew up, and I was always happy. I've always been happy. I'm very happy. I always excelled, always tried to achieve greater things for myself. I've always been happy. So let's fast forward to now that I'm an adult. I'm an adult, and I've been married to a woman for 14 years, my ex-wife, and I adopted her daughter when her daughter was 2, and I raised my daughter until she was I raised my daughter. When my ex-wife decided to leave, she took my adopted daughter with her, and they moved in with my daughter's biological father. Now, I've told you this before, but I haven't got to see my daughter since she moved in with the biological father. She'd never met him or could remember ever meeting him. There was zero contact, and now she doesn't talk to me. And there's a lot of psychological reasons to that. I've Googled it, and this is pretty typical for an adopted child to meet their biological parents, and they kind of drop the adopted parents from their life. I could blame my ex-wife for my victimhood. My ex-wife did this to me. How dare she? And I could be very unhappy, very unhappy. I could choose to just hate life and not be able to do anything. Well, at the same time all this was going on, work was really coming down on me. So here I am in a very depressed state already, and now work is just beating me up. And it took me 2 years to recognize that I was not healing from this separation of my daughter or my ex-wife, or as that goes. I just wasn't getting over it. And every time I was alone by myself, I would recognize that I was not right. There was something wrong with me, and I knew it. I just knew there was something wrong with me. But I chose not to be a victim. I didn't blame my wife. I'm not blaming work. I had to change something about myself to get myself happy again. And that's what I did. Look, I could have stayed miserable for a long time. I could have told myself, well, there is no way we can live in a pop-up camper, and we can't get a travel trailer because, we got this little truck and it's not going to pull it, and it would be a huge investment to do anything else. There's just no way. There's no way we can do it. So I'm just going to live life unhappy. I'm going to be a victim, and I'm going to blame my ex-wife, and I'm going to blame work. No, I chose to be happy. And I chose, when Carolyn and I talked about it, we chose to live in this pop-up camper, and we chose to be happy. We chose to be happy. And that's the key to this. I really am grateful that I got to watch that video, because now I get to realize, I get to put a definition behind happiness and graciousness and victim. But in the end, I have to be happy, and that's what I'm doing. I'm living in a pop-up camper in a national forest, and I'm happy. So I hope that inspires someone else to be happy. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Click like if you like the video. And